We're at Cave Point County Park in Door County on the Lake Michigan side and looking at the sea caves. I'll tell you, even now in the middle of May, when it's cold, it's in the low 50s, these mosquitoes are worse than the low country of South Carolina. If you've been there, you know they'll carry you away. These things are trying to carry us away up here today.
I'm a traveling spirit, I've seen many shores, from the West Pacific to the island of Kenya. They treat me like a son anywhere I go, and even though no one can tell, I still feel that I'm alone. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm alone. Leave me stranded, I know how to handle it all on my own. On my own. I have learned that no one else can carry this load. It's a train where I'm the only passenger on board. Oh, there is beauty to enjoy on this road, but even so, I still feel that I'm alone. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm alone. Leave me stranded, I know how to handle it all on my own. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm alone. Leave me stranded, I know how to handle it all on my own. On my own.
So that was a non-eventful little trip. We went over to Cana Island. We walked across. Seemed low enough as we were going across, and got our feet soaked. So we brought the tractor back because $10 a person to be on the island, and there's not much really open. They're renovating the lighthouse and the keeper's house, so no climbing, no visiting anything there. So basically just a gift shop.
That's what it is.
So we just walked in the gift shop museum area and got the tractor back over. So maybe next time.
Alrighty, how are we doing tonight, everyone? Good. Excellent. Thank you guys all for joining us for one of Door County's oldest traditions, a historic Door County fish boil. I am the boil master here at the old post office. I do every single fish boil here at the restaurant, which comes down to about 400 of these every season. So I was also born and raised right here in beautiful Door County. So I'll tell you guys a little bit about our famous fish boils that we do up here, starting with the fish we use. That's what I have right over here. I do walk around the whole circle to show you what they look like before I put them in, so if you want to get a picture of the fish, just have your phone out and ready, because I got to kind of keep moving. Everything's done on my little timer here. So, fish that we do use for our fish boils here in Door County, they're fresh, locally caught Lake Michigan whitefish. They're caught from both sides of the peninsula, both Lake Michigan side and Bay side, depending on the time of year. And we buy all of our fish from a local fisherman right here in Door County. We get fresh fish brought in just about every other day. Here's were all caught just yesterday morning. They go and pull their nets usually every other morning, so that means you almost always get your fish cooked 1 or 2 days after they're caught here at the restaurant. If you've never been to one of these before, it is not a whitefish fillet you get at a normal restaurant. These are whitefish steaks. They're basically just chunks of whitefish. I take the whole fish, I cut them all up into steaks. That's what I was just doing a minute ago in the kitchen. That does mean that all of the bones are still in the fish, which does kind of throw a lot of people off. However, the servers, they quickly debone the fish steaks right before they serve it to you. So believe me, it makes for a much more enjoyable experience not having to deal with all those little fish boils. And we're the only fish boil restaurant up here in Door County where the servers take out the bones right here. So very nice thing. All right, start with my normal corner. Oh yes, the third fish boil of the year. You guys ever been to one of these before?
Yes.
Yes, all right. This is quite a dining experience, to say the least. Door County is definitely home to the fish boils. We've been doing traditional fish boils here at the old post office restaurant since 1978 now, so 43 years we've been doing fish boils out back here. I've been doing them here for the last 7 years. We do this in every single type of weather conditioning, no matter what. So rain or shine, you still do the fish boils even if it's pouring down rain out back. Now before you guys all get here, I fill the kettle up with 25 gallons of water, 3 cups of salt go into the water. Salt is the only seasoning you put into a fish boil. That's pretty much all the Norwegian settlers had back in the old days. However, that does season everything quite well, the fish, the potatoes, and the onions. You get your fire burning, it takes about a half hour or so to get the water to start to boil. Once the water is boiling, you start your timer at 30 minutes. Each fish boil takes a half an hour. Potatoes go in the kettle first for that whole half an hour. Onions go in second, depending on the size. Fish you put in for the last 7 minutes. Well, we always do buy our fish whole, and then I will hand cut them all myself with a big razor sharp knife. Right before I bring them out, put them in the kettle before every fish boil. It's the best way to do this. Cut the fish up right before you boil them. If you buy them pre-cut, or even cut them up yourself ahead of time, they start to drain a lot of their natural fluids out, and they just kind of start to dry out on you and shrink. So it's definitely a little bit more work for me to cut up all the fish, but it is a much better way to do it. And on an average season, I cut up and boil about 35,000 pounds of them. So a lot of fish get cooked out of this kettle every summer. Last summer it was more like 40,000 pounds because we were a lot busier. Now the fish boil, this is an old Scandinavian tradition. It was started off by Swedish and Norwegian immigrants back in the 1800s up here in Door County. Northern Door County is very rich in Scandinavian heritage. You kind of see it all over up here. Well, fish boils are part of our old Scandinavian heritage as well. Most of the Swedes and Norwegians who settled here back in the 1800s, they were homesteaders up here in Door County. Basically got free land by the government just to move up to the area to start establishing growth to the upper Great Lakes. Some of them came up here and fished. Most of them came up here and worked in the logging industry. Those probably would have been the 2 jobs back in the 1800s up here in Door County. There's plenty of fish out in the water, and the peninsula itself was heavily forested. Now, I don't think the fish boil itself was ever really intended to become a tourist attraction like it is today. This would have been done in logging camps and fishing villages back in the 1800s up here in Door County. It probably would have just been an easy way to feed all the Scandinavian immigrants who were starting to settle up here on this remote peninsula. They had plenty of fish in the water. Well, potatoes, onions, butter, salt, 5 simple ingredients in a big kettle like this. They would do fish boils like this, and it would have just been used to feed the tiny little communities back in the 1800s up here, which were really nothing more than logging camps and fishing villages at this time. So that's how it all started off. It wasn't until around the turn of the century people started to appreciate all this natural beauty we have up here in Door County. They quit logging all the forests, they started preserving areas for state parks, and they started to build and open the first hotels and resorts for tourists, including the Edgewater Resort. Opened in the year 1900. It was one of the first hotels to open up here in the village of Ephraim. So right around that time, Door County started getting its very first tourists. Unlike today where we get over 2 million visitors up here every summer, if you did come to Door County back in the early 1900s, you came up here by steamship. They didn't build the roads this far north on the peninsula until the late 1920s, so they started to bring tourists up here from Chicago and Milwaukee during the summertime on steamships. And if you're coming all the way up here from Chicago on a steamship, back in those days you weren't going to come up here for a long weekend or a day trip like people do nowadays. It took a good 12 hours just to get all the way up here. Most of the guests who did come were quite well off, and they'd spend a few weeks up here during the summertime. And back in the old days when you stayed at a resort here in Door County, well, they cooked all your meals for you while you stayed here as well. They called it the American plan. Well, some of those old resorts and hotels started to do fish boils for their guests, and that's how the tradition was born here in Door County. Ready? You definitely want to get a picture of this, and then you guys get to head inside and eat, so don't try this at home, kids. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There it is. Hope you guys enjoyed all the fish boils. Enjoy your dinner tonight, everyone.
Good morning, Sunday morning. We've gotten up, taken in church at Cokesbury on the line, and we're in for a special treat today. It just so happens that this lighthouse tower at the Door County Maritime Museum is in for a grand opening today. So we're going to come in for that National Maritime Day and see how all this works out.
This is a good a day as any to start the rebuilding of life. The roads that lay open are many when the old one's gone under the knife. And I can feel the sun on my skin, beginning to thaw from within. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today is a good day to live. This morning has so clear a light as any to see the horizon in the far. Excuses were 2 for a penny, but they've all gone out the window of this car. And when I feel the wind on my face, all that ever was is a wreck. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. tomorrow. There's no time to borrow today. Well, something's gotta give. Today is a good day. Today and not tomorrow. There's no time to borrow today. Well, something's gotta give. Today is a good day. Today.
It's hard. Hard to What? Straight up. I'm trying.
Elmer, the Bayview Bridge. Bayview Bridge, you know that, Elmer? Over here, in the canal, estimate 5 minutes to Bayview Bridge. We'll be open. Bayview Bridge, copy, Elmer. Connecting bridge open. Be advised, wind is from the north at 22 miles an hour. No other traffic crossing in the channel. Over here, affirmative. Wind from the north at 22. No traffic in the channel. Aggregate. Bayview Bridge. Whiskey, whiskey. That's Kansas.
Ah! Crosses, please. Yeah, you're in the driver's seat. No, the driver's seat.
I've drowned too deep, no strength to fight. My guy's so good, amigo 있어.
We are in Peninsula State Park in Door County, Wisconsin. About halfway up, came in the Fish Creek entrance, and we are at the Eagle Bluff Lighthouse. We're gonna go out here and take a look. It's one of 11 lighthouses on the Door County Peninsula. We have this kayak, our longest distance yet. We came from way back over there at the boat launch inside Peninsula State Park at Nicolay Bay, and we are now on Horseshoe Island, where Nicolay Bay meets Green Bay, part of Lake Michigan. It's a little rough coming over. We were coming against the waves and the current coming out. We're gonna have some lunch. We'll see right back here did a good job. I'll see Eagle. So we're gonna have some lunch and enjoy the time out here before we head back.